Retrospective with Chris Johnson.
Episode 5. Sacha Dunable. Intronaut. I love this dude. He makes awesome guitars and awesome music with some of my favorite humans on the planet. Check out that music on the Players Pick podcast playlist on Spotify. I think that's what it's called.
Wow, good job. It almost sounds like you're just in a rehearsal room with to the street.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, Players Pick podcast, episode number 5, with Sacha Dunable of Intronaut and Future Us's. Sacha is one of 2 guitar players in Intronaut, and also has the last name Dunable, so that would let you know that he's like the guy behind Dunable Guitars. Longtime fan of Sacha and his band. David and Joey are like brothers, all the 3 of them, to me. And we're sitting here in his downtown rehearsal studio. Can't tell you the location, super top secret. If you knew, definitely would kill you. Just wouldn't be right. But I love this guy, and he's a wealth of information and just a all-around decent human being who I like hugging when I see him because he's got such beautiful blue eyes.
Some hugs did happen before we started recording.
That's right.
I'll tell you that.
So welcome, Sacha, to Players Pick Podcast.
Thank you for having me,
Welcome.
my man.
How things been going so far with the new record?
Good. We're coming right along, actually, with that record. It's like, I think we have like 6, almost 7 songs kind of demoed out, which is definitely, enough for an album at this point, but I think we're going to keep going. But it sounded good. Real good.
What's the average length of your songs right now?
There's a couple real epics on there. I think there's a couple up there past 10 minutes. But there's some short ones too, some bangers and some long ones too.
Can we expect it to kind of progress from the last record? Or is it kind of in kind of Intronaut fashion, almost like it's going to be taken on its own as a...
Yeah, it's going to be kind of more of everything, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to really say at this point. So far, it's like way more technical and even heavier, but still like catchy and, creamy and just gratifying, but still challenging too. So
good.
We'll see what happens.
Well, I mean, I've not been silent about how much I love the last record, especially having it on vinyl at home. But like, you sent me the first couple tracks before you released it, and I was like walking out with my dog, and just like could not believe like how good, like the mix, the writing, everything. And I know Devin was part of the mix,
Yeah.
So which I think, I don't know if you're going to do that again, or if you have something picked, or if you're just going to wait until you get there.
Yeah, no plans yet. I would love to do that with him again. Obviously, that worked super well. Yeah, that record is like the best record I've ever been a part of. So.
You've got so many good records. That's the interesting thing about it to me, is that there's so many. You have this catalog for this band is deep in my opinion. So to come out with that one, it's like, oh wait, you guys are just getting started.
Yeah.
How many years have you been together?
2003 was when we started
15
writing.
years then?
Yeah, about 15 years. This will be our 6th album.
Cool.
So a load of albums.
Yeah, especially the type of effort and
for this kind of band, I mean, it's a lot of albums. Obviously, bands have made 6 albums before.
Yeah, but it's no small feat. So.
Yeah, right.
Well, as you know, this is about guitar picks a little bit here up front, and so I'm interested to know your pick origin story. Like, what was your first memory of getting a guitar pick, and how did you get to where you're at today?
It's a little fuzzy because I am 37 years old, so this was quite a while ago, but I feel like I remember it being... My first memories of obtaining guitar picks was in La Jolla Music Center, I think was the name of the store, where I first had guitar lessons, and they would just have one of those plastic bowl, the fish bowl of picks that they're like the tortoise shell, like the clear thing, and
Totally.
I feel like they were like Fender
Celluloid.
brand, or celluloid, right?
Yeah, celluloid fenders, yeah.
Or maybe they were like La Jolla Music, like the store.
Custom printed.
Yeah,
the
like
logo.
their complimentary picks or whatever.
Sure.
But, I mean, I'm not just saying this either, but I remember very early on also I don't remember exactly I must have bought them in the little baggies, but the Tortex picks, very early on, I remember experimenting between purple, green, yellow. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I've actually been playing those yellow ones since like literally since I've had a choice, and like bought my own picks. That's like just what I've used.
It's Tortex yellow.
I just have never even really tried anything else. There's just no reason to. It's just sort of like the one that feels the best. When you first take them out of the package and they're like nice and dry feeling,
Yeah.
Like no other pick really feels like that, and that's just sort of the one. And it's just what I've stuck with. And obviously getting to know you and having our professional relationship has been very, very nice, because I've had a lot of fresh Tortex picks.
Custom printed with
these
your
fingers.
logo.
Yeah, that was like a very cool moment in my pick, trajectory or whatever. Was having custom Tortex picks made.
Well, so cool. Was there somebody? Did you buy your first guitar pick on your own, or did somebody give you, or did you kind of? Who was the first person that like helped you start playing guitar? And
I don't remember where the first pick came from. My first electric guitar, my dad bought for me in a pawn shop, and it was like a Squier, and this was like in 1989. So there was probably like some dusty old pick in that case that came with it. And then, like I said, like you go to guitar lessons and you're 10 years old and you don't remember to bring anything, so the teacher's like, okay, you stupid kid, like here's this La Jolla Music celluloid pick.
So it was just from that was kind of
from that. But yeah, I guess along the way I tried like other like what else was, I don't know, what is another like brand of pick that even existed back then?
Well,
I remember the Fender picks.
Yeah, Fender celluloids,
which are kind of
Clayton's with the eagle.
Oh yeah, never.
That's one of them that you could
Yeah.
could have come across. I know my first guitar teacher had those around, kind of thick ones.
I remember the Dunlop nylon ones, like that have the grip on them, but those never really felt right to me. And actually, what was the Dunlop? I feel like it was Dunlop that had a really weird shape.
You're talking about the purple? Oh no! Oh, the fin.
Yeah.
So it had like an asymmetrical, like weird edge, and then had the little ribs on the other side.
Yeah. What was that?
It's called the fin.
They still make them?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, in fact, I think Joan Jett plays it. Or she did anyway. I don't know if she still plays it, but we have some custom printed Tortex fins.
I remember messing with those, and I remember also buying the stuff from like Musician's Friend called like Gorilla Snot or something like that, which was like this, I don't know what it was. It was like this like glue, like real sticky just shit you'd put on your fingers and on the pick so that they wouldn't slip out of your hands or whatever, but I don't know. It was obviously some gimmick that didn't last very. And it would get out on everything else too. So
perfect.
Didn't last very long.
Now we put these type of grips on picks.
Oh, these are great picks.
Those are the Delrin, the new Prime Grip Delrin. But these are some of the Flow ones right here. This is actually the one. I don't think you've seen that one. Look at the center. With
the 420. I have seen this.
It's a 4.2.
No, I like this. What is it? Prime Grip?
So these are the Flow. So this is a Prime Grip. So it started actually with Prime Tone picks, which are an Ultem. We end up making, like, I think you got one on your floor here. There's like Animals as Leaders.
Oh yeah, that's where I know them from.
Yeah, so that one right there is like the first custom pick I did there at Dunlop, and out of that
this
Prime,
is a good pick.
Yeah, so out of that series, that's a 73. That's your gauge too.
Right.
So that could probably work for you in a pinch.
Yeah.
But we start with the Prime Tone. Jimmy developed that type of grip for that series, and then it was so popular that we applied it to the Prime Grip Delrin 500 series that came out around the same time as the Flow series, and the Flow series is also Ultem but it has a wider geometry and a symmetrical bevel. Where the prime tone stuff, if you look real close at that tip, there's an asymmetrical bevel. You can't. It's even harder to see it.
I see, but it's already on there. Right?
Yeah. It's almost like it was worn.
Yeah, right.
A little bit.
I like this grip a lot. I'm just, I'm so stuck in just
Tortex yellow.
You know?
It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
What's the best-selling Dunlop pick? Is it Tortex yellow?
You know, I'd have to actually ask, but Tortex yellow and Tortex green are like neck and neck.
They have to be.
They're like
the ones, right?
Because you have so many people that have pointed to the green ones through the years, like Dimebag Darrell, and just so many big names. And yellow is just, I think they're neck and neck constantly.
Right.
But we're, as far as best pick of all time, it might be Jazz 3. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that whole series.
It depends. I don't know if you can say. You'd have to look at the whole Jazz 3 category. Would probably be bigger than just the Tortex green and yellow, but Tortex is huge. So
right.
I don't know. I'm not telling you, man. I don't know. I'm not giving you these numbers.
I will say, not to badmouth any pick.
No,
I don't want to hurt any pick's feelings
say anything
here,
you want.
But fuck the Jazz 3 line. I'm not about that line at all. Way too small. I'm just too big of a guy. So
Yeah. All right.
Never got into it.
Here you go. That's
pick
the truth.
beef.
Yeah, pick beef. Sacha Dunable versus Jazz 3. Who will win? He's much bigger.
Probably
so.
Jazz 3.
Well, it's funny because that's, I actually played the Tortex green forever because of Dimebag, and just I think Chuck Schuldiner used him too.
Right.
And, a couple of favorite guitar players. Because before that, I was playing any random thing that looked like our basic shape.
Yeah.
But I remember my buddy up in Seattle when I was working for Loud Technologies, Ampeg and Mackie. Mm-hmm. My buddy Zane. He's such a sick guitar player. He's super. He was doing slapping and popping funk stuff before I ever saw Tosin.
Right.
It's a different thing. But he's on a 7-string and all this stuff. But his pick of choice was a Jazz 3, and I remember we started working together, product developers. And he's like, "Here, I know this seems crazy, but just take this pick, play it for the weekend, and then don't play anything else. And then, when you come back to work on Monday, I'll have you pick up your favorite pick, before and see what you feel." And I'm like, all right, fine, So I go home, and it was super weird at first, super small, and it's but you end up adjusting if that's the only thing you let yourself mess with, and you try to find the merit in it. And all of a sudden, it started clicking the second day. I was like, oh, this is actually pretty cool for some things. I still feel, a little bit, because it's so stiff and so pointy and so small. I was used to having a little bit of flex and snap, what you have with Tortex in the thinner gauges. But
I get it. It's a sort of efficiency of motions, but for fast players and stuff, it's really big, right? The Jazz 3 size or whatever.
Yeah.
I get it. I'm just kidding. I'm not angry at the Jazz 3 picks, but
you're messing up right now. We're editing this.
Just kidding. I'm super pissed.
It's cool. I just found it was funny because when I did come back and I picked up my Tortex green, I was like, well, this feels like a Cadillac, like a boat. I don't even nah.
Yeah.
And so then I kind of switched over to Jazz 3 for a long time, and then and trying out all the different Jazz 3 iterations, all the different materials. There's nylon, there's Ultem, and the different Tortex gauged Jazz 3s. So you can get the Tortex yellow in a Jazz 3 or a Jazz 3 XL.
Right.
So I went through all those and the T3 and stuff. And now, but I'm kind of sold on the Ultem. I'm kind of sold on the Flow series. Not just because I had a part in creating it with Andy James and John Petrucci, but they're kind of my favorites.
Isn't the Meshuggah pick like this, or did they have pick like that?
I do. Yeah, actually, I don't have one on me, but
I have them.
Yeah, but the Meshuggah pick is a 96, so it is that gauge. But it is that is Delrin, and his is nylon. So there's a slight difference.
I just like the grip. I think that's cool.
Well, Fred's picks are extra grippy. We press the mold in a little bit more.
Right,
to
so
pop it out a little bit more.
The tread is higher.
It's
or something, right?
Yeah, he always called the max grip because he was a max grip player and a regular standard nylon player, he always used to he calls the max grip cat tongue picks. You know, I don't know, the ones with the cat tongue.
Right.
And so, like, when I made him his signature pick, we made sure it felt like a cat tongue.
A weird reference. You know, the cat tongue.
Yeah, it's like they have, like, the cat tongues are directional, man.
What if you didn't have a cat? You'd be like, what the fuck is this
like
guy talking about?
Definitely. I'm glad that I know the reference. I have a cat. I've been a cat guy for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. So that's that about that. But you have you're just a Tortex yellow guy through and through. That's the story. Sounds like you're sticking to it.
Can't change this old dirty dog and his tricks, or whatever that saying is.
I don't want to teach it's hard to teach the old dog.
Can't teach this cat out of the bag.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Wait.
Is there a perspective on life you can share with us that might give us an insight as to, like, how you stay creative and motivated? And
certainly never been the guy at a party who's gonna, like, come with some, like, heady, deep, like, you know, philosophical thing that, you know, is gonna, like, resonate with people, or that that would mean anything to anybody at all. No, I think that my, you know, secret to, like, you know, staying young at 37 years old has just been to, like, you know, stubbornly and foolishly, probably throughout my life, not doing things that I just don't enjoy. So I'm just kind of stuck to playing heavy metal. I'm basically doing the same thing now that I was doing when I was 16 years old. So it seemed to work out all right, and that's kind of been my thing.
So don't do things you don't enjoy.
Yeah, not that I, like, knew that I was doing that and that was the smart thing to do this whole time. It just sort of ended up working out. So I guess take from that what you will as far as some sort of life philosophy.
No, I think it's great. I mean, it's simple, and for a complex world.
Right.
You know, like, that's part of just having a perspective. You know, it doesn't have to be a heady thing. And I think that when you put that boundary in the world and you say, I'm going to do my best to not do things I don't enjoy, I would interpret that as, like, if my heart's not in it, why would I commit my life force, my energy to that thing, knowing that I can't give it what it needs anyway?
Right.
You know, obviously there's times when we have to do things. There's plenty of things in life we have to do that we don't want to do, but but when the things you have control over,
right?
Yeah.
I guess that's what I mean. Yeah. Like, I still pay my taxes and my rent and
taxes.
Take a shower every morning.
Wow.
I don't enjoy that.
You don't?
Actually, I do. I have to shower every morning, or else I just don't. I'm never truly alive until I shower. You know what I mean?
Is there coffee involved?
There's for sure coffee. Yeah, my routine is wake up, take that brisk walk from the bedroom to the kitchen, put the coffee on, take the shower, and then when you're out of the bathroom on the way back to the bedroom, you grab the coffee. And before you're even dressed, you're caffeinated and just like a gentleman, just ready to start the day.
Just like a high class fella, you know. Just
yep.
I have a similar. I mean, basically, coffee is the first thing. I make that brisk walk. Coffee is working.
What's your coffee? What are you working with these days?
Well, it's interesting. That's a good question, because interestingly enough, I went through this, like, everybody at work laughs at me because I come in a different week. I'm like, I've got the Chemex. You see this contraption?
Oh, okay.
It's this Chemex pour over thing, and everybody's like, oh, whoa, show us how it works, you know? So I'm like in there giving demos, and then I got over that really quick because I didn't actually. I kept, like, waiting to, like, be able to make the coffee be the way I wanted. It was a fancy machine, a fancy thing.
Yeah. Is that the cone thing?
It's kind of like a big glass cone. So
so it's not just a one cup.
It's a carafe. So you can get them in different sizes.
Got it. Okay. Right.
So, and they are good. I'm not really talking shit about Chemex. Just didn't work for me, and I didn't know what it was. And I was also trying all these different coffees, all these single origin, like, it's got hints of blueberry, hints of chocolate, and all this stuff. And I'm like, this is great. I'm experimenting, you know, I'm branching out.
Right.
I'm doing highfalutin coffee. And everywhere I go, like, oh, you got to pour over, you know, like, and then it slowly like dawned on me. I was like, it's so inconsistent. Like I'm not getting like really what I want. Like I want coffee. I want to drink coffee.
Yeah. Right.
I don't really need the blueberry or the the lavender essence.
Yeah. Right.
That's interesting, but that it makes coffee into tea for me.
Yeah.
Right. It's like more, and it's lighter. It's like the pour over isn't like a strong brew really.
Right.
So then I was like, oh well, I'm gonna try that I started doing what is it? Bulletproof style like French press.
Okay.
You know, and I would do that and do a little blender with the butter and all that stuff.
Right.
That kind of got me hooked on that for a while. And sometimes I just do it black with the French press to try to get it strong enough to have that coffee forward. Again, still experimenting with all these different coffees and never really the actual beans and the mixes not really being the thing.
Yeah.
Just the other fucking day, like I'm in Whole Foods, like in the coffee aisle, and I'm like, damn it, I just want to. I said it out loud. I was like, looking at all the stuff. I'm like, damn, I just want like just a straight up good coffee, like a dark roast, but not too dark, but coffee forward. And the guy, like, I kind of said something to that extent, and the dude next to me was like, oh, you're looking for that right there. Pete's makes it. I'm like, Pete's?
Dickinson's? Which one?
Yeah, Major Dickinson.
That's a classic. That's a classic around my house. Yeah.
Yeah, and I apparently I'm way late to that party.
That's like their
way late. It's their
flagship or whatever.
Didn't know. I kind of wrote Pete's off as like just another Starbucks because every time I go in to get coffee from Pete's, I didn't know that there was what to order. I just like get an Americano or whatever, and it's like it's okay. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. But now I got the Major Dickinson's, right?
Yeah.
And then Moon Zappa turned me on to the AeroPress. Do you know about the AeroPress?
Which one is that?
It's the weird little like gray tube, like it's like a coffee syringe. It's like a big coffee syringe about this big. It holds like 4 ounces.
Oh,
and there's you put a little tiny filter in the bottom and screw it in. Coffee over the top, and you pour in. If you need to fill up a cup, you have to kind of stir it and keep pouring water.
Yeah, right.
And then you kind of put the plunger on top and let it sit for a few moments. Usually I run my milk frother while that's sitting. And then, but that thing changed the game too. It basically can't make a bad cup of coffee. Okay. Like super.
But do you is it like French press where you get like you're chewing on like the coffee towards the end of it?
No. Okay. It's still it's. I would say that you can make it darker with a French press. You can make it pretty dark with this, depending on how long you let it steep. Right. Okay. But in almost no time, you could follow their instructions. They're like, stir it for 10 seconds and then plunge. You've got great coffee. And I'm like, I did that at first, and I was like, they're not wrong. That was good, but I'm gonna wait a little longer, And I started experimenting, and then I went on their Instagram and found them a month later that everybody has all these different recipes and styles of using that same machine or a little contraption,
Yeah.
So do yourself a favor, get an AeroPress, $30.
I'll check it out. I've just been back on the drip machine, which is fine because it's consistent.
Yeah, if you've got a system, Yeah.
But
what's your coffee then?
I do Dickinson's when I'm not feeling adventurous, but Intelligentsia makes one called El Diablo, which is like a dark roast.
I do like that one.
I'm back on dark. For a while I was like, dark roast is bullshit because it doesn't have as much caffeine.
I did the same thing.
But then you go, but there's all these light roasts don't taste good.
No.
They're too bitter or sour kind of,
Mm-hmm.
But that El Diablo dark roast is probably my favorite right now. Stumptown, I have their French roast that I had this morning, which is pretty good. But I don't know, man. Just give me some dark, 3 tall cups of dark in the morning, and I'm ready to rock.
Are you cream or sugar or just black?
Just black, yeah. I used to be a sugar guy, when I was younger.
You are a man's man, Sasha.
And then I realized, sugar is, a terrible thing.
Terrible.
To have that much sugar in a day is, just bad. And then I would do milk every once in a while or cream, but then I just preferred black. It's just, lighter, I don't know. It's just easier.
Yeah. I love heavy whipping cream.
Right.
Just a dollop, in the bottom, and then I do my AeroPress into the cup. Or lately, heavy organic coconut cream, coconut milk. you almost have to stir it real hard. But now I got this frother. And the frother, man, I didn't know I was missing out on this.
Especially with a thick, creamy, cream or milk or something like that. That's what makes a good foam and shit.
Unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. It's
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Especially if you get the real, big kind of chunky fat stuff that needs to be warmed up to be liquefied.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And so I've been doing that when I'm home. That's kind of my ritual, and it's part of the deal.
That's like a keto thing, right? It's anybody who doesn't want to eat
high fat
food in the morning or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, high good healthy fat.
I do the same thing, but I don't put it in the coffee. I eat the triple cream yogurt.
Totally.
Just one of those little things. Just fucking slam that in my fucking face and then off to the races.
Yeah, that's what I trained into that scenario. I don't really eat. I usually have a green smoothie on the way to work and then just start at lunch.
Yeah.
But then somebody brings donuts to work.
Yeah,
bro.
the rest of the day is
I don't even shoots my whole thing.
I don't even think about the rest of the day. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to retract my original answer. I think that talking about coffee makes me happy. That's my life philosophy.
Okay.
I just realized that.
You just kind of perked up there. Yeah.
We just worked some shit out there.
That's good. I'm glad we got to the bottom of that. Well, now we know what makes Sacha tick. It is a good fucking dark roast.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yep.
And what I'm curious though also, because you are a music connoisseur yourself, you have a lot of interest in music outside yourself, I believe. At least at times. I know that it's probably tough with running the schedule, building guitars and writing a new record and for multiple bands and stuff. But I'm curious, do you have any, because I'm a fan of Underdog, do you have any lesser known bands or local bands or people you've found on tour that you're man, they should be better known,
Yeah. Have you heard the band, the band Moontooth, right? Have you heard of them?
I've heard of them. I've not heard them.
Intronaut took them on tour a couple years ago. They're from Long Island, New York. And they have one album out. They have another one that they're about to put out, which is honestly fucking incredible.
Really?
The guitarist Nick Lee is one of the probably best young guitar players. I feel he's starting to get some notoriety or whatever, but the dude is just insane. He's a shredder. And the band is sick. They wrote good songs before, but now it's the combination of just nasty riffing and just real good hooks. I think they got some help on the record from one of the Lamb of God guys, I think. Maybe
really?
Some producer helped him with the record. So it's just it's going to be sick.
So Moontooth.
Moontooth.
And what was their last record?
It was called... I'm sorry, I don't remember what it was called.
It's okay.
It was called It's called Sacha Doesn't Remember what it was called.
No, it's funny that you say that because I was trying to remember the name of your last record while we were talking about it earlier, and I think I just now remember it's the Direction of
Last Things is the Intronaut record. I do remember that one.
The Direction of Last Things.
I can help you with that.
And I was gonna say the Direction of All Things or something derivative, but anyway. Okay, so we don't know about the Moontooth record, but we know that it's good, and there's a new one on its way.
Yeah.
Soon.
And it's very good. Yeah, I feel like they might have just put up a song or something like that.
Oh, cool. So there's a single maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else?
As far as unknown bands, man.
They don't have to be unknown, just not as well known.
Yeah, I don't know. While I think about this, you might have to fix this awkward pause in post, but... I feel like I work with so many bands and hear so much music all the time that I'm I can't even think of one thing.
Well, tell us about Future Us's.
That's an unknown.
Yeah, you just did this record and did a tour.
Yeah.
And so I listened to most of it. I honestly didn't get through the whole thing because I was got sidetracked and I haven't gone back to finish the record.
You can't not while you're driving or
no, because I realized it was more involved than that.
Right.
Yeah,
the band is sort of. It's based around just me being a self-indulgent late night loop guy.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of effects and whatnot, and I just. After a few years of compiling all these ideas and riffs or whatever, made it into a band, and it's essentially just really slow, not really soundtracky, but kind of just that sort of atmospheric instrumental, kind of combining everything I like about bands like Jezu with like Borin and Der Club of Gore, which I don't know if you know either of those
Don't
bands.
know. But see, this is where now we're getting somewhere.
Those are two of my favorite bands of all time.
There we go.
Explosions in the Sky, kind of like if they were like way more like trip, like on mushrooms or something. You know? Just that my love of that kind of music, just through the filter of my brain or whatever. It's a lot of fun. It's just me on guitar, and I have this looper, like this Boss RC 300, I think it is, looper.
The large one?
It's got like 3 loopers in one. And
Yeah,
you can quantize it to a click.
So it scares me. It looks cool, but it scares me.
It's so fun.
Really?
And it's like the basis for the band. It's like I'm like, you record one part and then you can send that to one amp and then you record another part that goes to like this amp, so you have the stereo madness.
Cool.
Also inspired the first Dunable distortion pedal, the Splatter Blaster, because we have a fuzz and a distortion that go to their own amps, and it's just wild business, man. You should check it out. It's on Spotify or it's on
all the places
wherever you get music.
Yeah, live now wherever you get your music.
Yeah.
Future Us's.
Yep.
Yeah. When can we expect to like hear maybe the first singles and stuff? I mean, I know you're still kind of piecing together the record. Are you trying to do something
Intronaut.
like mid next year or late next year? Or?
Yeah, probably like recording spring or so, maybe. It's tough because we have a new drummer and he doesn't live in Los Angeles, so
Got it.
kind of doing this thing where like we send tracks and he like writes drum parts in MIDI, which he can then print out into like sheet music, like drum sheet music.
Whoa.
And learns the songs that way, which is actually pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But it's just a different kind of like process.
Yeah, you're not just smoking in the room and just like, hey, dude, I got the riff.
Yeah,
check
like
it out. I think it goes
kinda,
into that next thing. Yeah, it's not that.
Kind of all on the computer.
Yeah.
Or a lot of it is, at least. So.
It's one of the more common things in modern music, but for me, I'm still wrapping my head around being able to collaborate that way.
Oh yeah.
And stay accountable with people. To be honest,
You and me, we're like from. We didn't grow up with like recording music on a computer. I mean, I did it on a cassette 4-track until 2 albums ago. You know what I mean?
2 albums ago?
Yeah.
Wow. You're like doing a Fostex type of thing, or
actually probably just the last record was the first time we were doing like GarageBand demos. I mean, everything else was either cassette 4-track or you just are playing it in the room and you record it on a fucking boombox with one mic.
Yeah.
I mean, that's literally how we would do most of our writing sessions for the last record, except that a lot more of that was written on the computer. But anyway,
wow.
So this is all very new to me as well.
Yeah. Well, congrats for like catching up to 2018 and doing it like the kids are doing it these days.
Yeah.
I'm trying too. Like my buddy Ryan and I, like we're my old band. Like we've been talking a lot lately. Wish we could get the band back together. Just to play a couple of shows would be fun. And I'm like, man, we're not like drummers in New York. He's in Seattle. I'm down in the Bay Area in LA. And if you could start a song and send it to me, and it's like we're gonna start playing with that idea again and see if
it's pretty fucking fun. And there's so much of this stuff nowadays. I mean, whatever. Like people listening to this are gonna be like, "What are these fucking?
What are they talking about?"
Like,
I know.
I just discovered Logic. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's like now I have like sort of. I mean, it's more fun now than it was 10 years ago because like I have resources to just put all this shit in a room and like be a total like
nerd
about it.
Yeah.
Just like investing in gear and like learning about plugins. And I got this fucking Torpedo Live, which is like,
dude, those are cool.
I got it last week and it's the most amazing thing. I've been like putting all my amps through it and trying pedals and shit through it.
Agreed.
It's like the most fun I've ever had.
It's super legit. That's a nice piece of modern technology.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Because it interfaces with tube technology and all your other analog equipment, right?
Yeah.
Like that's smart.
Exactly.
It's just smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I'm glad that company exists. Actually.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I had one for a little while and used it. I haven't had a need for it recently, but I'll probably get another one because if I do start recording, so I want to record with my amp.
Exactly. It's so it's so cool. I was trying like all the like software, and I never went as far as getting like an Axe-Fx or anything, but
it's like an Axe-Fx for cab emulation.
Yeah.
For so you plug your awesome tube amp right into there, and you get
and my pedal board. It's like everything I will be using live, but I don't have to like mic. It's just practical for like home recording.
Yep.
You know?
Or noisy environments, as you guys can hear in the background. Which freeway is this? Is it I-5 or?
It's literally every freeway.
It's all the freeways.
It literally is like the 5, the 10, the 1. I mean, it's everything.
It's the cross section.
Yeah.
Wait, we just gave away the location, Sacha.
Shit.
God damn.
Yeah.
Well, so cool. Thank you again. I appreciate it. Players Pick Podcast number 5 with Sacha Dunable, Intronaut. Thanks again, buddy. I appreciate you. High five. High five.
Players Pick Podcast, Picks and Perspective with Chris Johnson. Pool table. Painkiller. Palindrome.